Washington, D.C. finds itself at the center of a political and policing storm in August 2025. On one side, allegations that the Metropolitan Police Department, MPD, deliberately manipulated crime statistics to make the city appear safer than it really is. On the other, former President Donald Trump's decision to deploy 1,450 National Guard troops to the Capitol for a month-long intervention, citing rising violent crime. The two narratives clash. If crime is really falling as reported, why the soldiers in the streets? If crime is worse than the statistics show, how deep does the manipulation go, and who benefits? This controversy isn't just about numbers. It's about public trust, political power, and the safety of the nation's capital. The allegations against DC police. The falsification claims. Allegations surfaced in May 2025 that MPD officers were pressured to downplay serious crimes. Violent felonies such as shootings, stabbings, and carjackings were allegedly reclassified into lesser categories like property damage or simple assault. The goal: create an appearance of steeply declining crime rates, especially in high-profile districts. The key figure: Commander Michael Pulliam. Commander Michael Pulliam, who oversaw the 3rd District, covering neighborhoods like Columbia Heights and Shaw, became the central figure in the scandal. He was placed on paid administrative leave while investigators review reports from his district. Whether Pulliam acted independently or as part of a broader culture within MPD remains a central question. Officer pushback. The DC Police Union, led by Greg Pemberton, has strongly criticized the official statistics, calling them preposterous. Union members say the daily reality of violent incidents doesn't match the sharp drops recorded in the data. This public pushback has intensified the scrutiny on MPD's internal practices. Why the numbers don't add up. Official stats: DC reported a 35% drop in violent crime in 2024, followed by another 25% decline in the first half of 2025. On-the-ground reality: officers and residents say gun violence, robberies, and assaults remain a visible threat in many neighborhoods. The discrepancy: this wide gap between lived experiences and official statistics fuels suspicion of manipulation. The federal intervention. Trump's deployment of troops. In mid-August 2025, former President Trump invoked his authority under the DC Home Rule Act, temporarily federalizing the Metropolitan Police and bringing in 1,450 National Guard troops for 30 days. Trump justified the move by citing a violent crime wave threatening residents and tourists alike. Political division. Supporters of the intervention argue that DC needs decisive federal action, especially with allegations that local leadership cannot be trusted to provide accurate crime data. Critics say Trump is politicizing the issue, using crime fears as justification to undercut local governance. A paradox. If the data manipulation claims are true, Trump's case for federal intervention is strengthened. But if the statistics are accurate and crime is actually down, the troop deployment may appear more like a political maneuver than a public safety necessity. Background: a pattern of manipulation claims. This isn't the first time MPD has faced accusations of data manipulation. 2020, Sergeant Charlotte Jossu's lawsuit. A decorated Iraq War veteran and DC police sergeant, Jossu filed a whistleblower lawsuit claiming crimes were regularly downgraded. She alleged promotions and district funding were tied to good stats, incentivizing officers to alter reports. Her evidence included internal emails and testimony from fellow officers. In early 2025, the city quietly settled the lawsuit, avoiding a jury trial. Union testimony: for years, the DC Police Union has argued that the department prioritizes optics over honesty, warning that the public is being misled about crime levels. The Pulliam case has revived these earlier allegations and placed them in a new, politically charged spotlight. Timeline of key events. 2020, Sergeant Charlotte Jossu files whistleblower lawsuit alleging systemic manipulation of crime stats. 2021 to 2023, DC officials continue reporting year-over-year crime reductions, despite persistent complaints from officers and residents. Early 2025, DC quietly settles Joshua's lawsuit, avoiding trial. Terms not publicly disclosed. May 2025, Commander Michael Pulliam placed on paid leave pending investigation into crime data manipulation in the 3rd District. July 2025, MPD continues reporting major declines in violent crime. Union leaders call numbers unrealistic. August 2025. Allegations surface publicly that Pulliam and others misclassified violent crimes. Former President Trump deploys 1,450 National Guard troops for a 30-day intervention in D.C. Debate intensifies between supporters who see necessary action and critics who view it as political overreach. The bigger stakes. For public safety. If crime data was falsified, residents were misled about the safety of their neighborhoods, undermining both prevention efforts and victim advocacy. For trust in policing. Manipulation of reports erodes trust between communities and police. Victims feel ignored when their trauma is hidden behind misleading statistics. For politics. Trump's intervention has made the issue national. DC's local governance is being challenged, and the question of whether the capital can self-manage its safety has become a flashpoint in the 2025 election cycle. Conclusion. Washington, D.C. stands at a crossroads. If investigations prove systemic manipulation of crime data, the scandal could reshape how Americans view crime reporting nationwide, not just in D.C. If the data is found to be largely accurate, Trump's deployment of troops may be seen as an abuse of federal power for political ends. For now, the city lives in uncertainty. Soldiers patrol its streets, police officials face internal review, and residents wonder whether the numbers meant to protect them were hiding the truth all along.